and the company Redzone have been operating fixed wireless access services in the 2.5 gigahertz spectrum across Maine for more than a decade. T-Mobile looks terrible in this, guys. Shortly after T-Mobile received FCC authorization to turn on its 2.5 gigahertz holdings in Maine earlier this year, it launched its 5G network in the state without any warning, according to McKenna. He said Redzone immediately noticed an uptick in customers' tech support calls as they suffered dropped connections due to interference. Quote, "It was a Friday in March." Since then, McKenna said he has contacted T-Mobile on 4 separate occasions to try to get the company to work with Redzone on a possible solution. He said, "I think there's a pathway to coordination." He said, "I'll fly to Seattle tomorrow and sit down with them anywhere they want to meet." Wow. So McKenna looks like a nice guy, sounds like a nice guy. He's trying to get a fix that works for both companies. It looks and sounds like from his side, T-Mobile's not coming to the table. They're not responding. That's why they're reaching out to the FCC. The other company, what was the name of the company? It was Redzone and NextWave. It sounds like their efforts are not being acknowledged by T-Mobile. T-Mobile's appetite for additional 2.5 gigahertz spectrum shows no sign of slowing. The company recently filed for FCC permission to acquire additional 2.5 gigahertz licenses in Cali, Louisiana, Kentucky, New York, and North Carolina. So T-Mobile's been gobbling up all this 2.5 gigahertz spectrum. Now they're not playing nicely. These are the things that I tell you guys all the time. Everybody has always loved T-Mobile. T-Mobile has been infallible. They have been the Uncarrier. They have established all this great equity with the market. Investors love them. Analysts love them. The Uncarrier thing, customers have loved T-Mobile. And I said 4 years ago when they got the merger and John left and Eugene stepped in, this is a different company. They're not who they once were. They weren't doing things like this before. Now they do things like this where they don't give a shit and they don't care about the rules and they don't play nice because now they're in a position of power. I want to make something very clear. When people get money and power, they become more of who they are. When they're broke, poor, powerless, they're humble, they're kind, they're nice, they're respectful. Companies operate through the personality, the characteristics, the qualities of their CEO. They take on that persona. This tells you everything you need to know about this company. They're a carrier. It's not personal. This is not me taking personal shots at T-Mobile. This is reality. When they bought Sprint and eliminated Sprint and took all of their assets, this was inevitable. This is who they were going to become. And that's why John left. Everything he had done up to that point, to the merger, was opposite of this. He couldn't stay for this. Someone else had to do this. Eugene. And Eugene's just like anybody from AT&T. And he's just like anybody from Verizon. It's just disingenuous because they still mock and clown and lie about the Uncarrier movement. There's no Uncarrier. You call this Uncarrier? Would an Uncarrier be unresponsive to the incumbent operators of a frequency that has experienced interference that's impacting the performance of the network? T-Mobile's spectrum is messy, noisy, and troubled. And they need to work with these companies to find solutions. And I know everybody's, going to have an opinion, and that's fine. You can defend T-Mobile if you want. I don't care. That's fine. Go ahead. Do what you do. You could defend the regional providers. Do what you do. I don't care. You could defend the FCC. Probably won't, but you could defend the FCC. These companies just want to operate. They were doing just fine before Spectrum Auction 108 cleared. those white space licenses are causing them hell. They're having customer care calls up the ass since March. Just so happens March was when T-Mobile was issued the white space licenses. Yes, the FCC should have been more prepared for this. But also T-Mobile should be responding to these calls and be a part of the solution. That's my problem. Shout out to EM Tech with a super chat. T-Mobile, notoriously bad neighbor. They caused issues with Dish's 600 megahertz, didn't they? Yeah, I think there was some interference there with their 600 megahertz too. Some noise, some interference. I think the bigger issue with Dish and T-Mobile is the fact that Dish let T-Mobile use 600 during the pandemic for a while. Initially, it was supposed to be for a few months. It went on to like 6 months. I think it almost went to a year. And then Dish was like, "Oh, hey, T-Mobile, glad you're enjoying our network assets. Can you start paying us now for it? We're running a business." And T-Mobile told them no. They told them, "No, we don't want to pay for it. We want to continue to use it for free." Tell me that's not a middle finger from Eugene to Charlie. And people will defend T-Mobile from shit like that. Are you serious, man? Oh, man. Yeah. T-Mobile and their 5G interference. Moving like some serious dicks. Straight up.